I'm a big sister in a sisterly way like that, and I'm really impressed, and I've just watched her journey over the last few years as she's progressed in an incredible way, and she's here to talk about confidence and self-belief. So girls, if you can give me a little round of applause wherever you are in your classrooms, if you may be at home, I'm not sure if everyone's back in school yet, but if you are in school with your people, give a big round of applause as I welcome Inspiring Vanessa. Give Vanessa another welcome. Keep those claps coming for the amazing, inspiring Vanessa. Oh, okay, I can see that Vanessa's having a little technical difficulty. Unfortunately, she can't turn on her camera. Let me see if I can assist you in any way. And if our tech team can help in any way, that would be amazing. Vanessa, can we hear you at least? Is your...
Hi everybody, I'm so sorry why you can't see me for some reason. It was working earlier, but I can't turn my camera on for some reason.
Don't worry.
Try again, Vanessa, try again.
Yes.
There you go, can you see me?
There we go.
Alright, amazing. Thank you so much for that intro.
Ladies, gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen in the building, welcome, Inspiring Vanessa.
Thank you. I'm just super excited to be here. Thank you all so much for obviously coming here for this event. I'm very honoured to be the first speaker here as well for Rocking Your Teens. But Ramel obviously gave me a lovely intro, but I'll introduce myself again for you guys. I'm 14 years old, so I am a teenager. I might know a little bit about how to rock your teens, in my perspective anyways. Obviously, I'm in year 10, so I'm one of the youngest in my year group actually. And I'm an international speaker, talk show host, content creator and actress. I do a few other things on the side, but basically what I'm going to be talking about today to all of you is 3 steps to self-belief and confidence. So just going to start off with our first one, which is to accept your insecurities. Now, my idea of how we see insecurities is obviously a reflection of ourselves if you think about it. The way we see beauty and expectations and stereotypes are all kind of shown and symbolised in the media especially, and in social media as well. But if you really think about it, all of the flaws that you see for yourself is something that other people might love about yourself. For example, one of my, I guess I'd say, insecurities for a while was probably the way my hair looked. Because like especially in primary school, a lot of people around me just had lovely, soft, silky, straight hair. I never actually straightened my hair because my mum would not let me do that. But you guys get the gist, and how I kind of felt insecure about that. Luckily, I'm not like that anymore because I love my curly hair very much. But that's just an example of the way we have insecurities and how that is a reflection of society and the people who are around us. But because we all have a different version of how we see beauty, that's why somebody's insecurities might be something that you really want to have on your face, for example, if that makes sense. So I think we really need to put into perspective that your flaws are what somebody else loves about you especially, and accepting your insecurity is definitely not easy, but it is certainly worth it. I think for a long time, obviously as girls, insecurities kind of get pushed on from even our own gender. It can be females against females sometimes, and that isn't okay, but it's definitely a learning curve that we can learn a lesson from, especially for sure. So I think insecurities, hard to get over, but if we learn to accept our flaws and learn how to love them, because that's what makes us who we are. And I know you guys probably hear this around all the time, just be confident and love yourself. And obviously it's not that easy because it's an extremely long journey that you have to come across, but learning how to love your insecurities, I definitely think you'll learn to understand that sooner or later, because your flaws are just something you see for yourself and other people love that about you. So we need to see ourselves how other people see us, and obviously give ourselves the advice that we give to other people, which I think is a very big thing for a lot of us. So my next step is self-validation. Now, I can't stress this enough, guys. self-validation is extremely important. As a person, I'm not proud of it, but as a person myself who kind of seek validation from others, it's very hard to sometimes tell yourself or learn to, I guess, recognize your worth. Because if you're always seeking validation, like sometimes I do from other people, you're almost asking people to tell you if you're worthy of their time or if you're worthy of doing this or that. I might find myself being proud of myself, but then I'll still go ahead and ask somebody if they agree with me, which shouldn't be the case, because then I'm putting my worth at somebody else's hands and waiting for them to measure that for me, which shouldn't be the case. It's all about you and the way you see yourself, rather than always focusing on the way other people see you. I'll tell you guys a little story, but I think I was just having a really rough week. I was like, why isn't anything kind of turning out the way I wanted to? I think we all had those days as humans, and a lot of people have been recommending to me to do meditation, and I never really sat down to have the time to do it because I do have quite a busy schedule. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, see what it's going to do. So you can look up any guided meditation on YouTube, and they really do help. For me anyways, they never really helped before, but I think in that moment it especially helped me calm down and relax. And I basically kind of really understood how to validate myself for the first time. So self-validation is massively linked to being grateful for yourself, being thankful for getting yourself here. So self-validation in a way can be like affirmations. If you guys don't know what affirmations are, they're basic sentences that start off with I am. So for example, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am amazing, I am wonderful, I am confident, I am worthy of my own dreams and goals, I am hardworking, and the list can go on and on. You guys kind of understand where I'm going with this, but self-validation and affirmations, they really do play a massive part. You need to thank yourself for getting here and where you are today. You need to thank yourself for your flaws, your milestones, and just, you know, waking up every day and actually getting through the day, because we all have bad days as humans. And I think that's really looked over, because even though maybe our mental health could be struggling, we still get through it sometimes. I think we always overlook that, and other people overlook that for ourselves. So I definitely think self-validation is extremely important. If you guys find it cringy to stare in the mirror, personally I found it kind of cringy at first to be like, well, I don't really want to look at myself in the mirror the first thing in the morning and tell myself all these things, but it really can help, because the more you start telling yourself those things, the more you decide, or not decide, but you start to believe those things. And that's really the power of affirmations. But can't stress this enough, as I said before, but self-validation is extremely important in terms of growing your confidence and in terms of self-belief, because nobody else is going to be you 24/7 apart from yourself, and we can't be reliant on others is a really big thing. I think we can always kind of rely on others for validation, one, to tell us our worth, and to also, you know, rely on our happiness. And that's a really big thing. So I think self-validation, definitely try it out. Not even try it out, it's definitely not optional, it's definitely compulsory in terms of this, but self-validation really can go a long way, because you need to learn how to be grateful for yourself and to thank yourself for getting where you are. And that's just in terms of being proud of yourself and not waiting for other people to tell that to you, and just tell it to yourself first. Because when you are going to be on your journey to your vision, to your goals, which is kind of my next point, but when you're on your journey to your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, not everybody's going to be there to tell you, oh my gosh, you're doing so well. You're going to have to tell that to yourself, and that's what's really going to keep you going. So you need to be there for yourself, and then other people will be there for you, because obviously you can't wait for people to see your own worth if you don't see it for yourself. So definitely self-validation is definitely key in terms of self-belief and confidence, and that is my second tip. And my third and final tip is vision, which I was just mentioning before. And we all have different visions, and I think definitely amongst maybe some, I hope it's not your friends who are telling you that you can't achieve your vision, but necessarily maybe the people who are around us always have an expectation of what our dreams or goals should be and what that looks like in their eyes. But same thing with self-validation and accepting your insecurities. You need to know that this is for you. You need to know 100% that this is something you want to do and you want to work towards, especially as well. And vision, there's a very thin line, I say, between thinking about what you're going to do and actually doing it. There's a very thin line between that, because especially, I think you guys can all get this and relate to me on this, but during online school, I think especially this lockdown, now that schools kind of knew how to, you know, lay out the educational system throughout lockdown, especially in the beginning of 2021, we had a lot of online lessons, so you have to learn how to do that, complete your work before your deadline, etc. It's a good learning experience, but it can definitely be overwhelming. But that can obviously come with a lot of procrastination, just saying, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go and do it tomorrow, you know, I'll do it like the day before this task is due in, for instead of doing it, you know, a week before, so that you have time to do it later on. So I think procrastination definitely played a big part in my lockdown for sure. I don't know about you guys, but definitely a big part in doing schoolwork, and just kind of telling yourself you don't want to do it when we really should be doing it, which sometimes can be the best and the worst thing, because it's great to feel productive sometimes. But vision, you can have a vision board. I know they're going to have a workshop later on and that. Can't wait for you guys to do that, because vision boards are amazing. You can have a whole vision board for yourself, plan out how you want your website to look like, for example, if you want to be an entrepreneur. If you want to, I don't know, make jewellery or something, you've got your website planned out, you know how you're going to make the jewellery, where you're going to get it from, what your target audience is, you've got your audience profile done, whatever it is, you've got your whole kind of idea set out. But none of that is going to actually, you know, become reality if you're not putting any action into it. That's why it's so important to understand that there is a very thin line between knowing what you want to do and actually doing it, because it's a massive step. It's sometimes a very big risk to kind of put yourself out there and see what other people think of you, and to see how people react to what you want to do or what you are actually doing. Because, for example, this is a kind of good analogy. Let's say somebody wants to be the next Picasso or something, or Leonardo da Vinci, and they want to make the next massive, big, iconic painting, but they've got their whole idea planned out, they've got their imagination running through, so they've got everything laid out for them, they've got their whole paintbrush set, they know what they're doing, but then they don't actually pick up the paintbrush and do the painting. Now that kind of probably seems a bit cliche, like, well, obviously they have to do something if they want to be a painter, but if you think about this in terms of having everything set out for us and not actually picking up the paintbrush and doing what you want to do, then none of that is going to become reality. You need to make your dreams become reality. I'm a massive dreamer. I always have massive expectations for myself and how I want things to turn out. When they don't turn out that way, it can be a big setback for yourself. But you do have to end up taking action despite what other people think of you, despite maybe what you think of yourself, and what kind of, I guess, little voices in your head are going to be telling you that, no, you can't actually do this because you're not worthy enough, or this is not going to work out, or why are you doing this if other people aren't agreeing to it, or other people aren't supporting you. But overall, not everybody is going to support you in your journey. Not everybody is going to appreciate what you do, and that's why we have to do that for ourselves. So when you go on your journey to do whatever you want to do, make sure to be for yourself. And every step of the way, when you are feeling pressured or you're feeling overwhelmed, remind yourself the reason why you started. And that's always been one of my favourite quotes. Remind yourself the reason why you started to do what you want to achieve. So those are my top 3 tips on self-belief and confidence. First one, let's just do a little recap. Accept your insecurities and your flaws. Number 2 is to self-validate yourself, to appreciate and have gratitude for yourself and also the things around you, but first yourself. You come first, you are the main priority. And the third one is vision. Know the difference between planning out what you want to do and actually doing it and taking action towards that. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the chat, and thank you all for your time and being here today.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Absolute star. I think you have shared the most insightful ways to stay confident, to have self-belief, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sure loads of our lovely ladies who've joined us for Rocking Your Teens have appreciated that. I hope you guys have been taking notes as well, because this is definitely gems. You need these in your life. But Vanessa, we've actually got some questions for you.
Amazing.
So, is there anyone in particular in your life or in the public eye who inspires you to accept yourself for who you are?
I love that question. I think everybody who I follow. Funny enough, just like yourself as well, in terms of presenting, it's amazing to see what you're doing, especially as a woman of colour. So different things like that. Everybody who I follow online, I try and make sure the people who I follow are encouraging me rather than kind of urging me to compare myself to them, if that makes sense. So I think a lot of people who I just follow is who I look up to in a lot of different ways. But I definitely say my mum, even though she's not necessarily in the public eye, but I say my mum because, you know, she's like, stop bringing yourself down. You actually, you did well. You need to believe me when I say that. But obviously when you receive compliments or you receive validation from others, necessarily it might not go into your head, because if you just don't believe it, then people can tell you the most amazing things about yourself, but none of it is actually going to go through if you don't believe it for yourself. So yeah.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that. And yes, we love mums.
Yes.
We love mums. We just celebrated Mother's Day, so yes, it's so important. And I wanted to ask as well, where did you find I mean, you've spoken about confidence, but where have you found your natural skill to be able to talk, to do public speaking? I mean, I think you're actually one of our, to my memory, one of our youngest speakers, which I feel like is incredible. So where have you found the ability to be able to do stuff like this, go international and, you know, write books? Where do you get all your inspiration from?
Well, I started when I was 9 years old, so this year's going to be my 5-year anniversary of doing speaking and everything that I've been doing, which is really crazy, half a decade. I don't really want to think about that because it's gone extremely fast, and it's been a very kind of big roller coaster of a journey, but it didn't really happen on purpose, and I think that's the beauty of so many different things. Everybody who's successful or doing something amazing and who is passionate about what they do, they don't actually start it on purpose. It kind of finds them, which I like to think about it. It finds them. So I went on stage at one event. Somebody invited me on stage. It was not planned at all. Did not want to go, for sure. But, you know, I kind of bought the courage to do so and go up on stage. And then I realised that this was my way of helping people, because I've always wanted to help people, because I find my happiness in helping others. So I think the idea of me being able to travel, to have the freedom to travel, to help other people and use my voice for other people, I think was kind of like the dream job for me. That's how I saw it when I was 9 years old. This is an amazing job. How come nobody at school has ever told me about this stuff, or what an entrepreneur is and having to be your own boss? Things like that I never knew before kind of getting into speaking or self-development anyways. But where I get my inspiration from, I think, is just thinking about, or what gets me up every morning. It's like, well, even if I don't want to do an interview, or I don't want to do a live, or if I'm tired that day, there's one person who might need to hear my message, or some of my videos are going to come up on the recommended. Who knows what's going to happen, but at least if I can impact one person today, and there's still somebody out there who hasn't heard what they need to hear, I think is what inspires me a lot.
Wow. I mean, 9-year-old boss, I love it.
Thank you.
Like, literally, I think I met you when you was about 10, so
yeah,
I've seen quite a lot, and to know that there's even more behind it, that, you know, an opportunity came in, 9-year-old you just snatched it up. That's amazing. And we've got some more questions in the chat as well. One is, how do you balance all your work as a speaker with school? That's a very good question, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, oh, I want to be that, but actually, am I ready?
Yeah, I mean, today's a prime example. I'm actually obviously sitting at home right now when I usually do have school. I started properly this week. So in terms of when I would have to go out of school for like a speaking engagement, you obviously need to get permission from your school. That's very, very important. You can't just kind of leave and go unannounced, because then it'd be a little bit suspicious if I was posting everything about an event I'm going to on social media and then the school sees it and they're like, well, you told me that you had a sick day, but you were actually here delivering a speech or something. So it's definitely about getting the permission to do so and being responsible with that. But I think it's about being very organized. I have a lot of to-do lists, and it is very satisfying to tick off things. So definitely keep that in mind if you've got a lot of things to kind of prioritize throughout your day, especially with when I have to post something, or if I have to edit a video or film a video. You kind of just have to plan it out throughout the week. So my mum definitely helps me with that. She kind of manages my time, because I know I'm not the best at doing it myself, but it's definitely about having to-do lists, I would say. It's my biggest secret, and just trying to be organized and prioritize things.
Amazing. And a final question. I think this is a really, really good point that you brought up with your visions and having a vision board. What have you got on your vision board? Can you tell us? Is it a secret, or is it something you can share?
Well, on my vision board, I think I made one with my mum when I was like 9, and then I think I'm going to do another one soon as well, because I kind of got some new ideas. But I kind of had a vision book actually of different things, because obviously I had different goals in like terms of traveling, career wise,